Buckle up. America's electric vehicle charging station rollout just hit a major twist that's bound to stir debate. After months of hesitation, the Trump administration has reluctantly greenlit the resumption of Biden-era funding for EV chargers, reversing its own earlier freeze of a $5 billion national initiative. The story is far from simple, and beneath the surface, it reveals a tug-of-war over priorities, policy, and the future of the nation's energy infrastructure. Take Pennsylvania, for example. The state is at the forefront of the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure (NEVI) program, securing nearly $77 million in federal funds to support an ambitious network of 90 charging stations through public-private partnerships. These stations are mapped along designated highways, aiming to make EV travel practical throughout the Commonwealth. But just as Pennsylvania was about to accelerate deployment, progress came to a grinding halt when the Federal Highway Administration, FHWA, suspended the program, leaving stakeholders in limbo. PennDOT spokesperson Zachary Appleby summed up the frustration. Without federal guidelines, we couldn't advance nearly as fast as we wanted to. Our administration kept pushing for clear rules and easy access to these vital congressional funds. During the pause, only about 20 NEV-funded stations became operational in the state, a fraction of what's planned across the 5-year initiative, which promises Pennsylvania a total of over $171 million. Curious about why federal EV funding was put on ice in the first place? Here's where things get controversial. The FHWA, citing worries about efficiency, canceled previous program guidelines shortly after President Trump took office. Officials pointed to the vast majority of dollars sitting unspent, an alleged sign that the program was failing as originally envisioned. At the time of the freeze, Pennsylvania had tapped just $3.1 million of its allocation, according to the U.S. Department of Transportation. Pressure mounted as 16 governors and attorneys general, including Pennsylvania's Josh Shapiro, filed suit against the administration, demanding the funds be released. A federal judge agreed, and the FHWA finally issued updated guidelines on August 11, mandating states to submit new spending plans by September 10. Enter U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, who openly expressed skepticism about subsidizing green energy. He commented, "If Congress insists on federal support for charging stations, let's eliminate waste and do this the right way." While Duffy opposes propping up EVs with taxpayer dollars, he pledged to honor Congress's directives and see that the money is used efficiently. The FHWA, in its review, accused the Biden team of mishandling the program, blaming them for squandered resources and eroded public trust. Duffy's revised guidelines, the agency claims, streamline the process and better reflect Trump-era priorities, safety, innovation, and cost-effectiveness. A bit of background. Congress provided NEVI's $5 billion pot via the 2021 Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, funding not just EV chargers, but also $2.5 billion for hydrogen, propane, and natural gas projects. The initial alternative fuel corridors focused resources on key interstate routes. In Pennsylvania, these corridors now cover the state's major highways, with NEVI-backed stations already enabling roughly 28,000 EV charging sessions and eliminating an estimated 1.56 million pounds of carbon dioxide, an important win for climate action advocates. And this is the part most people overlook. Pennsylvania isn't relying solely on NEVI. The state's Department of Environmental Protection has built additional charging stations under the Driving PA Forward initiative, thanks to funds from the notable Volkswagen diesel emissions settlement. These include new installations at high-traffic Pennsylvania Turnpike service plazas. With the major corridors now fully equipped as of January, PennDOT intends to channel the balance of its federal funds toward further expanding EV charging on other state-managed routes. We are committed to a fair and competitive program that stretches every NEVI dollar for maximum impact, Appleby assured. But here's where opinions sharply diverge. The updated guidelines, rolled out under Trump's Unleashing American Energy executive order, trimmed, or axed requirements that previously promoted community engagement and equity. Gone are mandates that states consult rural, underserved, and disadvantaged communities, or even outline how their plans help small, minority, or women-owned businesses, or ensure that at least 40% of benefits reach marginalized populations. Consumer protections, emergency evacuation plans, and stringent environmental assessments have also been set aside. Instead, states now enjoy broad latitude to decide charger spacing, corridor fulfillment, and project ownership, including working with businesses hosting the equipment. Is this radical deregulation supplying the flexibility needed for innovation and speed, or is it a step backward for equity and public safety? Should government support for EV infrastructure come with strings attached, or is a lighter regulatory touch the smarter way forward? Do these streamlined rules unfairly sideline vulnerable communities, or do they simply cut bureaucratic clutter? This new chapter in EV policy is sure to spark vigorous discussion. Do you believe the revised guidelines will help or hinder the transition to electric mobility? Should public funding always consider equity, or is efficiency more important? Share your perspective. Do you support this approach, or are you concerned about what's being left behind? Let's debate in the comments.